Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, New Me by Hannah. I hope you're having a great week. Unfortunately, not everybody in life is going to like you, so you can't force somebody to like you. However, there are some things you can do to maybe increase your chances of getting that person to like you. So, in this video, I am going to give you my top tips on how to get the girl, and if you use these tips and kind of incorporate them into your own amazingness that you already are, then hopefully you'll get the girl. In this video, I am going to give you my top tips for how to get the girl. So if you are trying these tips and it's working out for you, please pop me a comment in the box below because I would love to hear from you. Love a happy ending, so please let me know. Also, before we get into the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell to get future updates. So let's get into the video. Tip number 1. Absolutely, you need to have your own life. So what do I mean by that? Well, girls love an established guy. So whether you're literally out of in high school, or you're perhaps getting towards the middle-age bracket, girls love to see that you've got ambition, that you've got drive and motivation, and even if you don't have like a house, a car, a job yet, we just like to know that it's coming. So if you are perhaps unemployed, it might be a really good idea to even get a kind of part-time job, or start your own entrepreneur business or something to kind of show us that you've got the drive, you've got the motivation, and that you're going somewhere. You obviously are going to get the gold diggers that are just looking for money. However, most women just want to be stable. We just want to know that if we're going to be with you, that you're going to be able, it's obviously that you're not going to be able to provide, but we just want to know that we've got, good roots. That's all we're after. So certainly have your own life, know where you're going, have your own motivation, ambition, and goals, and then you're good. You also really need to have a good, interesting hobby. So something legitimate that you genuinely do. So don't just say that you play guitar if you've never played a guitar a day in your life, but something that maybe stands you out from everybody else around you, that people are interested by, and that you can maybe show off your talents at some point. So, interesting hobby, something to talk about, something to kind of, a good discussion point, I think, definitely. Now, I'm going to get psychological on you here, so don't be scared. There is something called a Benjamin Franklin technique. Now, this technique basically says that in order to get a girl to like you, you have to ask her to do something for you. Now, it doesn't quite make sense until you listen to it a little bit more. So, the reasoning behind this technique is that if you ask a girl to do a tiny chore, I'm not like, don't use her, but like if you said, oh, could you like pick up this book from the library for me? Or could you, I don't know, could you lend me a book? I don't know why all these are book related today. Must be on the brain. Anyway, but if you do a tiny little favor from her, then if she does it, first of all, great for you. Shows, she cares. But also, the Benjamin Franklin technique says that if a girl does that for you, does the little task for you or errand, then she's thinking in her head, psychologically, if I've done that for him, it must mean that I like him. So she's already thinking to herself, I must like him because I've just done that for him. So don't overuse this technique. Girls, definitely, we don't like to be told what to do or asked for a lot of stuff. But if you want to try out the technique, something just small, minimal, won't take much effort. Tip number 4. Be funny. Now, there's kind of tips within this tip because Girls have obviously different humor, but if a guy can make us laugh and keep us laughing, that is huge. Like, we like funny, but you have to be appropriate with it. We not so much of the toilet humor. We don't really like that, but just generally funny. It shows that you're intellectual, that you've got the confidence to make a joke, and it keeps life interesting. So definitely a big tip. Tip number 5, along the similar lines really, build up your confidence. There is nothing more turn-offish in a guy than for a guy that has no confidence. So do whatever you can to build your confidence, whether it's working out so you've got a nicer body so you feel better, or maybe you need to just practice your technique around girls, maybe try and speak to girls a little bit more. But definitely, if you want a girl to notice you and you want to be with someone, you have to be confident. Even if you're faking it until you really are that confident, just show it to us, you know? If you are confident, it shows us that you are self-aware and you improve yourself. I mean, nothing sexier. Hygiene, also really important, so smell great. Absolutely. Not overpowering, but just like a small bit of scent is really good. Make sure your hair's in good shape. And generally, if you dress nice, we'll probably notice you a bit more. So clean your shoes, maybe try a different outfit. Make sure that you're dressing as best you can for how you look. Tip number 7, we like guys. We will date guys, but we also treat them like our friends. So there is a difference between being her friend and being in the friend zone. Being in the friend zone means that you are literally going to be our friend and nothing more. It means that we don't want you like that. It means that it's just not happening. But if you are a friend to her, if she can confide in you and hang out with you and do everything that friends do in addition to potentially more, then that is definitely a good thing. We don't want to be with guys where it's just going to be kind of dates and nothing else. Like, we need to be able to talk with you. We need to be able to share stuff and just hang out and have fun. Like, that's literally it. On a similar kind of thing as well, tip number 8, it's a really good idea for you to tell a girl your secrets. So I'm not suggesting just tell anyone anything, but if there's a girl that you really like that you're hoping to get to know her better and potentially start a relationship with, then it's kind of cool to hear something that maybe no one else knows about you. Girls definitely trust guys who trust the girl, if that makes any sense. So if we are going to trust you, we have to also know that it's reciprocated so that you trust us back. And one really cool way to do that is by telling us something potentially embarrassing or like personal about you, but just something that maybe nobody or not many other people know. That way also it can flip around to show you how trustworthy the girl is. So if that girl then goes and tells other people, you know she's probably not the right girl for you. But if that girl keeps your secret, there's a building of trust there and it just develops and it could turn into something amazing. Tip number 9 is definitely to, this is going to come out a bit weird, but you have to be able to touch her. So not in a freaky kind of get yourself on the news type of way, but just like if you have a cool handshake with her, or you can play a game where you can like quickly just touch a hand or something, then you're already developing more than friend type things. So Touch is really important. It forms a bond, and you're definitely not going to touch everybody. So if the girl definitely isn't scared or anything like that when you touch her, then it's a really good sign. But again, you need the confidence to be able to do that and show us that you're willing to do that. My final tip is really simple, but I don't understand why men just don't do this. Pay attention to everything she says. For example, if you have a conversation with her and she brings up that she likes a certain band, and then in the future, you could then incorporate that into a sentence, and she'll be like, oh, he was listening, he remembered. And that is like, honestly, in girl world, that is monumental. Firstly, it shows you were listening. Secondly, it shows you care about what we're actually saying. And third, it shows that you care enough to actually remember that thing to bring it up in future conversation. So, pay attention to it at all times. Even if she's chatting absolute rubbish that you can't stand, don't do that typical male thing where a girl's talking to you and all you're hearing is nah, don't do that, don't do that, don't switch off. We are talking, and normally it's about something quite serious. So pay attention, listen, and then use it to your advantage in the future. One other kind of bonus tip for you as well, just in case you haven't had enough tips already, is not to be desperate. Don't be desperate. We don't like that at all, and I will explain why. Women like men who are attracted by other women. Does that make sense? So, if you are making yourself readily available, if you're going out on so many dates, so many women, then obviously you're readily available and you could be had by literally anyone. If you make yourself more unavailable and you're a bit more pickier with who you speak to and who you date, one, you get more time because you're not chatting to everyone in the world. Secondly, the girl sees that you are harder to obtain. Weirdly, something goes off in our brain saying, that's a challenge, let's do that. And we do that. In other words, don't be desperate. Don't go on hundreds of dates. And, you are so much more worth that. Like, just pick someone who is really right for you and make an effort to go after them. You don't need to, get to know the entire world. Anyway, I hope this has been of some use for you. If it has, pop me a comment because I would absolutely love to hear any stories of matchmaking, dating, relationships. Love it. So pop me a comment and I will absolutely see you in the next video. Have an amazing week.